Travis Wayne Goodsell. Here's one of the violent stories of the Book of Mormon that many Mormons don't want to read because it's not faith promoting. Alma, chapter 51. Let's start back. (13) And it came to pass that when the men who were called kingmen had heard that the Lamanites were coming down to battle against them, they were glad in their hearts, and they refused to take up arms, for they were so wroth with the chief judge, and also with the people of liberty, that they would not take up arms to defend their country. And it came to pass that when Moroni saw this, and also saw that the Lamanites were coming into the borders of the land, he was exceedingly wroth because of the stubbornness of those whom he had labored with so much diligence to preserve. Yea, he was exceedingly wroth. His soul was filled with anger against them. And it came to pass that he sent a petition with the voice of the people unto the governor of the land, desiring that he should read it, and give him, Moroni, power to compel those dissenters to defend their country, or to put them to death. For it was his first care to put an end to such contentions and dissensions among the people. For behold, this had been hitherto a cause of all their destruction. And it came to pass that it was granted according to the voice of the people. And it came to pass that Moroni commanded that his army should go against those kingmen, to pull down their pride and their nobility, and level them with the earth, or they should take up arms and support the cause of liberty. And it came to pass that the armies did march forth against them, and they did pull down their pride and their nobility, insomuch as they did lift their weapons of war to fight against the men of Moroni, they were hewn down and leveled to the earth. And it came to pass that there were 4,000 of those dissenters who were hewn down by the sword, and those of their leaders who were not slain in battle were taken and cast into prison, for there was no time for their trials at this period. And the remainder of those dissenters, rather than be smitten down to the earth by the sword, yielded to the standard of liberty, and were compelled to hoist the title of liberty upon their towers and in their cities, and to take up arms in defense of their country. And thus Moroni put an end to those kingmen. They come back, however. Right before the second coming. Before Jesus comes to earth for a second time. You've heard my videos, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Yes. It appears that this is about to become necessary, as we are finding out that there are QAnon supporters of MAGA who think now that there's going to be another coronation attempt for Trump on March 4th. This is the sign of the desperate. We've seen this in failed religion after failed religion. As somebody predicts the end of the world, and it doesn't happen on the date that he says, and so his followers and he then create another date after going into silence for a little bit of time, and then realize, oh, I miscalculated. This was the date. Some have even said, oh, he did come, it was spiritually. So, yeah, this is what desperate people do when all they have is belief. And this is what we're witnessing here in America, is that those of MAGA, the followers of Q, conservatives, and thus Mormon, are the kingmen being referred to here in the Book of Mormon. And I'm, again, not surprised, because this is Democrats. This is what they do. This is why they're so annoying and frustrating, and is that they have no spine. Biden is not moving fast enough. He's not overturning enough stuff quick enough. He's not holding people accountable. They are slow in the Senate to get the new attorney general in. It's not going to be until like the 8th of February or something like that. Right around the time that apparently the trial for Trump is now going to be held. Mitch McConnell played them as a fool, and they fell for it yet again. Lucy and the Charlie Brown football, if you're familiar with that. It's just so disgusting. Bernie Sanders, I heard warn that if Democrats are not with a spine to actually make the changes quick enough, that America will again turn to Republicans to solve the problems, as we all know what that result's going to be. But there's going to be more that I'm predicting, is that in 2022, when we have the midterms for Congress, if Biden and the Democrat-controlled Congress does not take care of what's necessary to be taken care of, first Congress will fall to Republicans. Biden will become a lame duck. And then 2024, you will see the rise, if not Trump, by somebody even far worse. Now there is the head being chopped off of the dragon, which then grew another head in its place. I was thinking that was Bush Senior and Junior, though it's technically not Junior because there is a difference in the name. But I was very concerned that Bush 2 was far worse than his father, and as a result fulfilling that in and of itself. Though I didn't have a stellarium program at the time, and was unaware that the date for the signs in the heavens were 2017 to 2024. And so a civil war is still occurring, as the Q-MAGAs are starting to rise up again in denial. There was even a congresswoman who threatened to shoot Nancy Pelosi, I'm hearing. That's disturbing. And again, if Democrats are not going to hold anybody accountable, I mean, why aren't they kicking the people out of Congress? Yeah, I understand they're waiting for the Inspector General's report, but how long is that going to take? Is the Inspector General trustworthy? Are they going to come back with a report soon or years from now? How long are they going to wait as they have the enemy among them, purposely causing trouble to slow down the movement that Biden needs to undo, and that we, the people, are in desperate need of? They keep threatening in the Democrat Congress that, we'll do this one thing that'll allow us to only need the 50 votes plus the vice president's vote for 51 to be able to push through a whole bunch of things, but only if it's an emergency. What constitutes an emergency if it's not this? Dear God, they're as bad as Republicans who said, let's wait until after Trump leaves office, and then Trump leaves office, and it's too late now, he's left office. Let's just leave it at be and just let him go. This is those moments where I'm thinking we're being played on both sides. And it's very likely we are, because of the inaction, historical inaction of Democrats. And so the $1,400, yeah, if they do not do the 51 vote thing, March, if at all. So how many millions are suffering? How many have died? Over 400,000 for just the coronavirus alone. 3,000 in the Puerto Rico hurricane way back in the beginning. And so obviously death does not move our government. And just remember, Russell M. Nelson and the full prophets, I did the video, came out and were Biden deniers, supporting MAGA. They would not come out and specifically condemn Trump and MAGA. And in so doing, they are complicit. And so they pulled a stunt just like Mitch McConnell did, where they said, we congratulate Joe Biden on his victory. And then they pull this stunt. So, we've got some more contention. Do I need to read that? Let's finish with that one. Mosiah. I sent this to Mitt Romney, and at least he voted to impeach Trump today. Have a trial for him. I noticed Mike Lee was not on that list. Okay, let's see. We need Mosiah and 29. All right. 17. For behold, how much iniquity doth one wicked king cause to be committed? Yea, and what great destruction. Yea, remember King Noah, his wickedness and his abominations, and also the wickedness and abominations of his people. Behold, what great destruction did come upon them. And also because of their iniquities they were brought into bondage. And were it not for the interposition of their all-wise Creator, blah, blah, blah. But behold, he did, blah, blah, blah. 21. And now I say unto you, you cannot dethrone an iniquitous king, save it be through much contention and the shedding of much blood. All Mormons knew of this day, and yet Mormons chose to be the cause of contention and shedding of blood. For behold, he has his friends in iniquity. He keepeth his guards about him. Oh, yeah, his last order on the last day. I need the Secret Service to protect me and my family after I leave. Huh. He teareth up the laws, constitution, of those who have reigned in righteousness before him. He trampleth under his feet the commandments of God. Yeah, he was never a religious person. Can't trample him if he's never been a covenant to him. And he enacteth laws, and sendeth them forth among the people, yea, laws after the manner of his own wickedness. And whosoever doth not obey his laws, he causeth to be destroyed. And whatsoever doth rebel against him, he will send his armies against them to war. And if he can, he will destroy them. And thus an unrighteous king doth pervert the ways of all righteousness. We had the Book of Mormon in our hands. We are witnessing the fulfillment of biblical and Book of Mormon prophecy. It is our day. It is not some future day. Mormons cannot pull a Mitch McConnell. Oh, let's just wait and see. We'll wait for Nelson to tell us if this is the last days or not. Yeah, Nelson's responsible for the Mormon dead from coronavirus, lest you've forgotten. And all Mormons want to forget so that they can continue to follow him. There's a reason why there's an inverted pentagram on the Salt Lake Temple. I warned you about it. The Book of Mormon warned you about it. So yes, I'm pissed.